All right, good afternoon, everyone. It's 55 days to the general election of 9th of August. A lot of things are bound to happen between now and then. We are right in the thick of things. The election timetable has kicked in. Candidates are going through now through the final vetting processes so that they can finally be on the ballot. But as citizens, there's a lot. And starting today, here at NTV, we'll start what will be a series of debates, town hall debates, bringing the conversation to you as a citizen to hear your voice, to your thoughts, opinions about many things that during these times we usually don't talk about, like patriotism, like our place as a citizen in this country. What is our role as citizens during this time, during election time? During election time, a lot of things happen. There's passion, there's politics, but then there's us, and there's a country. That will start from today in Kisumu, in what we're calling Mkenya Townhalls, starting today. But I'm not here alone. I do have a panel, and I do have an audience, and also a colleague.
Na bila shaka mtazamaji, wanasema kwamba ukifika mjini lazima ufanye jinsi wanamjini wanavyosema. Na hapa wakisema omoso, kwa jumla tunasema nini? Berainya. Na basi bila shaka mtazamaji, tunazungumzia masuala mengi kama vile mwenzangu James Mata alivyogusia, ni kwamba dakika zimesalia, saa zimesalia, sekunde ifikapo mwezi Agosti tarehe 9 mwaka huu 2022. Jekejeke linazidi kutanda. Kila uchao wanasiasa tunawasikia, kura kwangu, kura kwangu, na wananchi wanasema kura hoye, tutakupigia kura. Lakini je, ni porojo ama ni kweli wananchi tumejipanga? Wasemavyo Waswahili ni kwamba uongo wa mwenye nyumba si ukweli wa mpita njia. Na hapa Ofafa katika kaunti ya Kisumu nitakuwa nazungumza na vijana. Vijana hoye? Hiyo sauti bado haijatosha. Yaani nipatieni ile sauti ambayo mnapatia wanasiasa. Vijana hoye? Mupo tayari? Haya, kabla basi hatujaanza rasmi, ningependa kila mtu achukue simu yake, ingia katika mtandao wetu wa Twitter na andika #mimi Mkenya. Piga picha, lazima tufanikishe uwiano wa kitaifa na uzalendo. Siku zote niite Frida Mwaka, nitaitika smart bera inya.
Thank you very much, Frida. And I'm James Smart. You've heard the audience. You'll hear more from them from this minute. But first, allow me to introduce my panel. I'll ask my great audience to clap for my panel as I introduce them. Let me start from my extreme right, and I'm joined by Reverend Bethwell Ocheng from Anglican Church. Makofi wa tafadhali. I also followed by Mariam Abdallah from Team. Karibu sana. We also have Commissioner NCIC Sam Kona. Karibu sana, Commissioner. And last but not least, Millicent Oucho Otieno, who's director founder at LCPI. Karibu sana. Okay, let me just start with the first round of questions to my panel. Let me start with you, Millicent. What makes you not sleep at night during this time?
Thank you very much. Karibuni sana. I'm happy to be here. The thing that makes me not sleep at night is thinking of losing yet another life because of elections. And I am troubled that we will be probably losing young people, especially, you know, because we are in a period of a competitive process. And unfortunately, the people who die are not the ones who are in the leadership, who benefit from those elected positions. That's my trouble, and I think of the likes of Baby Pendo, who innocently died, and I don't want that to happen again, and that troubles me. Thank you.
That's a very powerful statement to start with. I'll come back to you that. Commissioner, what makes you not sleep at night? Now, from a personal level, so from a commission perspective, what keeps you awake at night?
Thank you very much, and I'm also happy to be here in Kisumu. Watu wa Kisumu hamjambo? Mko tayari kuungana kwa mambo ya amani? Yeah, ningependa kusema kwamba as a commission and also as an individual, what keeps me awake every night is the fact that we have an agenda in the country. The most important thing in Kenya today is to deliver a peaceful election. So that is what makes me not to sleep. And to deliver that peaceful election, it requires all of us. And that's why I want at the outset to thank our partners, NTV, the European Union, the Royal Embassy of Denmark, for supporting Mimi Mkenya program, which is a dialogue between all of us to ensure we have a peaceful election, but also in supporting NCIC's election Bill and Norma roadmap. So my hope is that all of us will do our part to make sure we deliver a peaceful election. And it is possible.
It is possible to do a peaceful election.
It is possible.
Okay, I'll come back to you for that. Mariam, do you sleep well at night?
Currently, no. I don't sleep well at night, and this is the main reason. Number one, I'm seeing the fuel prices go up every day. I'm not seeing service delivery back at the grassroots level where I come from. I'm also not seeing quality health care. I'm worried there are no drugs in the hospital. And this gives me no sleep. And the fact that I continue to choose leaders who are thieves or who are corrupt, so to say, that makes me not to sleep. Yeah.
Okay.
And let me just take this opportunity to thank the Danish Embassy and ACT, who have enabled us to be here. And I think we don't take it for granted. They've continually supported us to ensure we continue to educate the communities at the grassroots levels so that they are able to participate effectively and engage their leaders. Thank you.
Absolutely. Reverend, apart from many things that happen during these times of the elections, the passion and everything else, the politics is really intertwined with what happens with the church. Where do you sit in this conversation and this debate?
Thank you very much. I'm grateful for having me here. I'm also grateful for the whole organizers of this event or session. I struggle and pray for a wholesome nation, a nation that is at peace with itself, a nation that is conscious of its need and the desire to fulfill those needs wholesomely. However, what makes me have sleepless night is the competition among the leading politicians to get the attention of the church, and the church being blind to see that they're being hoodwinked into dividing this nation by offering false prayers, leaving everyone that kneels before the leadership of various churches thinking that they are the leaders who have been not only chosen by men, but also by God. Now, my fear is, should they not be, what will become of this nation?
Thank you. Let's start the stage with you, Commissioner. These elections are they're not new things. We have elections every 5 years. Every 5 years we know of the timetable, we even know of the date, so it's certain. But something happens in this election period. We somehow just lose our minds. Everyone runs in opposite direction. One of the qualities and one of the guarantees for peace and whatnot is to have an election that is free, fair, and verifiable. I want you to start from that and give me a perspective, a thought perspective, on the question on who's responsible ultimately in making this country be and have an election that all of us here feel that election actually went well, and if I'm disgruntled, what should I do? And in during political times, that there's right to be, provoked, right? And I don't need to respond by burning someone's house, right? Please, I'll just start from there.
As I already mentioned, our biggest agenda as a country is to secure a peaceful election as a strategy of securing the whole nation. For an election to be peaceful, there are 4 things that we at NCIC believe must happen. And that's what gives us hope that Kenya will have a peaceful election and our country will be strong after this election. The 4 things is, 1, the election and the electoral process must be seen to be free, fair, and credible. And I believe as a country, we have what it takes to deliver that first condition for a peaceful election. The second one is we have to have tolerance and decency in all phases of the electoral process. Decency where politicians refer to each other in a respectful way. Tolerance where we accept the fact that we are a multi-party system and therefore we are bound to have different political persuasions. The third one, and this is perhaps the most important, is a successful or a peaceful election can be delivered where you have empowered citizens. If the citizens are empowered to know that they can hold different opinion, to resist manipulation, to know that their candidate can actually lose, just the same way they expect the candidate to win. That, to me, is very important. And that's why this Mimi Mkenya dialogue is so fundamental, because it's about the citizens. Lastly, for all those to happen, you have strong institutions. We have to have effective institutions. Our country, we are saying 55 days to elections. But I can tell you, all the institutions tasked with delivering a peaceful election, from the electoral body, security, office of the registrar of political parties, and institutions like even the media and so on, all institutions are ready and prepared, and they have done their part. That's why there is no panic in terms of going for elections. But for this particular Mimi Mkenya election Bila Noma campaign, we want to reach out to the Kenyan citizens that if your candidate loses, don't allow the politician to tell you to go to demonstrate. Tell the politician to go to court. As soon as you cast your vote, you have no business being in the polling station. Go and do your own business and let the police and the electoral body do the rest. That is why we want to start this program. I want to commend the people of Kisumu for being the first to host this important dialogue in our country about securing a peaceful election using the people themselves. And when I say the people, I mean the common citizens, you and I. Those are the people who secure Kenya and deliver a peaceful election.
Thank you. Kishona, is it possible for a candidate to lose an election and we are fine? Because it appears that our candidates cannot lose. The candidate I support cannot lose an election. I really want to hear from the people. What do they think? What should we do?
Naam, asante sana Smart, na pia vile vile pia washikadau wetu na hata pia Bwana Samkona. Lakini Smart, kuna hilo swali ambalo ameniuliza na pia mimi nitakuuliza hili swali, usinijibu. Hivi majuzi tumeona wanasiasa wakipeana mikono ya handshake, lakini tukifika kwenye ground wanasema vindu vichenjanga. Na sasa nataka kuzungumza na vijana, waniambie wanajihisi katika msimu huu wa siasa. Zimesalia siku kadhaa, wanajihisi vipi kama vijana? Umeuliza washikadau kama wanalala, wakasema hawana usingizi. Siku zote vijana hawana usingizi, wanatafuta chakula, lakini wacha tusikie sauti yao. Nikianza nawe bwana, naona unafikiria sana, sijui akili yako umepeleka mbali wapi. Hebu nikuulize, unajihisi vipi msimu huu wa siasa wewe kama mwanarika?
Okay. Thank you very much for that. I'm Brian Odhiambo from Keeping Alive Society's Hopes Cash. Now, I feel like due to the handshake, I have more confidence in this forthcoming election, because you find most of the political parties that have always considered themselves as opponents in a way working as a team, and we are experiencing something like more of a friendly fire as opposed to the previous one. So, and I feel I have so much confidence compared to the previous ones.
Amesema kwamba kuna ujasiri, lakini ingekuwa pia tusikie kutoka kwa mwanadada. Wanadada wako wapi? Kuna huyu amekaa nyuma yangu, amesema kuna ujasiri wakati huu wa siasa, lakini wewe kama mwanadada, wewe kama kijana, wewe kama mkazi wa Kisumu, unajihisi vipi na siasa?
Thank you. My name is Margaret Ouma. My name is Margaret Ouma. I work with Women Volunteers for Peace. With the organization that I work with, our thematic areas are peace and security. So because of the handshake that you've asked, I feel like we have hope as the residents of Kisumu that there is peace. But, you know, with politics, you can never be so sure, because every politician has a different idea of what peace is or what they do in their rallies. But personally, as an individual, and the groups, the societies that you walk through, and the communities that you walk into, and talk about peace, I feel like there's hope.
Naam, asante sana. Labda tu niruhusu niweze kuuliza wawili watatu. Ndio tumezungumza na hao wenzenu, wamesema kwamba wako na ujasiri. Lakini pia ningependa kujua Smart na wenzangu, kumekuwa na dhana kwamba eneo hili la Kisumu ama pia Kondele ama pia hapa Ofafa kumekuwa na vita wakati wa siasa. Ni dhana. Sijui kama ndio kweli, lakini ni dhana. Lakini unaona ni kwa nini hivi vita huletwa na nini, na haswa huwa vinalenga vijana? Zungumza nasi, sema jina lako, simama.
Kwa majina naitwa Griffin Sochieng. Mimi ni mkazi wa hapa Kisumu. Kitu ningesema kwa wanasiasa, wasitumie vijana vibaya wakati wa uchaguzi. Kama wakati huu tumeona wengine washaanza kupeana pesa ili walete vurugu kwa watu wakifanya kampeni, wakienda maybe kama kuna kampeni wa mtu ameenda fulani, unaona wameleta vijana hapo wanavurusha hiyo mkutano. Yeah.
Lakini mbona nyinyi vijana mnatiwa pesa? Kwa nini?
Si wote, kuna tu wengine juu hakuna kazi, itabidi tu akipewa hata somo moja, itabidi tu aende hapo afanye kitu amepewa.
Na asante sana. Ujirani tunausahau kwa sababu ya kukosa ajira. Ujirani tunausahau kwa sababu ya njaa. Unamsahau jirani unayemuomba kiberiti kila siku, sasa unamwona adui kwa sababu ya shilingi 100. Tunaelekea wapi? Suluhu liko wapi? Sauti iko kwenu wananchi, mtakapofika pale debeni na kuwachagua viongozi wenu. Kwa sasa Smart, na kurushia kwako.
I want to pick it up from there. Millicent, the question of poverty and the inability, and I asked these questions earlier on, is it possible, if I don't have food today, for me to make a right choice? I elect a leader of integrity. I elect a leader who's saying the right things, as opposed to a leader who's giving me 100 shillings. Is it possible for that to happen?
It is possible and it is not possible. Nitasema ujirani tunausahau, lakini haswa undugu tunausahau. Kwa sababu ujirani upo, lakini pia kuna undugu. Ndiposa wakati wa uchaguzi unaona kama tunajisahau kwa sababu ya hizi hela tunapata kwa wanasiasa. Let me say something in English, because if I'm hungry, I slept hungry, and somebody is coming to give me food, because it's not just money that the politicians are using. They are distributing food. Come on. My children are back at home in the house. Somebody is giving me maize and beans and rice. And here he is. He's not giving you this money for free. We have seen in this Kisumu of ours, and you'll bear me witness, that we now even have young ladies who are being mobilized to go and heckle. And by the way, you have to shout the loudest before you are paid. So it's not just money coming. If I had a sick child at home, do you think I will not go and heckle? Because I don't have anybody who is going to give me a meaningful employment. So that's why I said yes and no. Some of us are lucky to make that choice of no, I will not take this money from the politician because maybe I have my integrity, or maybe because I don't have the courage. Because we consider those women and young men who are shouting to have courage. Because it's not an easy task. And don't think they're so proud of doing that, but it is a necessity. Until and unless we address the food security issue, until and unless we talk about parity and equity and meaningful livelihoods to both the young and the old and the vulnerable in this nation, until and unless we get leaders who think it is their business to create policies and environment where people can have some meaningful income, I think we will continue seeing young and old people queuing for that political money. We will continue seeing undugu ukipotezwa, ujirani ukiisha, because people must survive. It is survival for the fittest, and that is how they see it. Whether you believe it or not, this is the state they find themselves in. The question for us is, can we then make the right choice of leaders who will not be giving us handouts, but will create that environment, will give us policies, will have roads that we can even embark on agriculture and transport our goods to the market so that we have a dignified way of life and we have food on the table and money in our pocket. That's the way I see it.
Mariam, pretty much the same question. We seem to suggest that these things happen for other people but not to us, right? These good things, development and great things should happen to other people but not to us. How do we answer this for ourselves, for our own sake, for today?
Yeah. So for me, I'd say that the rain started beating us the moment we forgot that the sovereign power belongs to the people. Article 1.1 of the Constitution. We did not give out our power. We have never given out our powers to anyone. The power still belongs to the people, and the people still have all the powers to ensure that they are able to do or to take the right decisions or to make the right decisions that they are supposed to make. So first blame goes to me and us. And I would say that if Wananchi today would decide and say that indeed the power belongs to us and not to our leaders, but we are the ones. And so we look at ourselves as the people wearing the suits and not our leaders, as the people paying our leaders and not them paying us. So you see, the scenarios change the moment citizens forget that they have the power. So once you forget, you go and line up and want to take you want to take 100 shillings or 200 shillings, which again you will have to bear with the same consequences because you are unable to put this leader to account for the next 5 years. So each year you will be eating 20 shillings, unfortunately, because you decided to forget that the sovereign power belongs to you and me. So I think let's go back to who does the power really belong to? And this is the people, the citizens of this country.
But Anton, before I go to Frida, there's this thing, and I've had it before, and you've had it, that the leader who's given me money is better than the one who has not given me anything. Tukula yake, huwa ametupatia leo, ule hajatupatia tujui yake. I've had this before, and it has a logic to it. How do you answer to that, to the question of that there's someone who's given you money, the other one who has not given you money?
Yeah. So I think this has been brought about by circumstances, and to some extent I would also say that it has been, there's a way it has been framed to be the way it should be, such that you'd find that citizens, because of poverty levels are so high, so you'll find the citizens will rather go for the 100 shillings. There's high rate of unemployment. There's no quality healthcare. You are unable, because even today I can tell you, James, if I didn't leave unga at home, if I go back, no one will have brought that unga. I will have to work hard to ensure there's unga on the table. So the high levels of poverty, which have been brought about by bad governance in this country, is something that has really affected us as a country, and also in terms of leadership. Yeah.
Wa rasilimali na umma Bi Miriam Abdalla. Na mtazamaji pia vile vile nataka kujumuisha katika huu mdahalo wetu ambao tunazidi kuendelea kuzungumza hapa Ufafa katika kaunti ya Kisumu. Unaweza zungumza nasi katika mitandao yetu ya kijamii ikiwa ni NTV Kenya, hashtag ikiwa ni mimi ni Mkenya. Lakini mengi yameweza kuzungumzwa, na kutokana na wale wadau wamesema kwamba sisi wenyewe kama vijana, sisi wenyewe kama Wakenya tuko na nguvu na tuko na sauti ya kuchagua kiongozi bora. Lakini vile vile pia mtihani unasalia pale ambapo unadanganyika na shilingi 100, unaona kwamba ule kiongozi ambaye anauza sera si kiongozi. Kiongozi anaingia kwenye pochi ndio kiongozi. Na ningependa kuzungumza na vijana vile vile niwaulize, ndio tumelia kwamba hatuna ajira, tumelia kwamba hatuna cha kutia mdomoni, lakini je, sisi ndio sababu? Zungumza nasi.
Thank you so much. I'm Leila Charles Acheng from Kisumu County.
Naomba simame. Alafu sijui mbona watu wa Kisumu mna Kiswahili amkizungumzi. Tujaribu tuzungumze Kiswahili, Kiswahili kitukuzwe. Nimeambiwa kwamba huku umeita nini? Oswayo. Oswayo haitambuliki. Lakini tujaribu tu. Kwa hivyo unaitwa nani?
Kwa majina naitwa Leila. Ongea Kizungu. I think we are the problem as the youths, actually, because we are looking for shortcuts. So when these politicians come and they promise us jobs, we'll do whatever they want. Yes, so we accept to be used. Yeah.
Amesema kwamba sisi tunapenda njia za mkato, na nimesikia Abi Millicent akisema wanawake wanalipwa ili katika mikutano ya siasa watoe sauti ile ya juu kabisa, alafu wanaenda nyumbani na shilingi 500 200. Lakini nafasi ya mwanamke kijana inafaa ibadilike. Unakubaliana nami? Simama.
Thank you so much. My name is Agnes Kose. And concerning that, I think our role as women in politics, we shouldn't accept to be used to go and heckle during rallies. Personally, I wouldn't do that. So I think also it's a personal decision for one to decide to go and heckle. If you've been approached by a politician to go and heckle during a rally, it's a personal decision. And maybe there are some people who really believe in that. So that is what they are known for that. And maybe some could do it for fun, for, politics, ni kujiachilia. So some may just go there kujiachilia, but not really to get the payment. And also some, because of the situation back at home, the unemployment, they could go there to go do that so that they get some cash. But I would advise women to take up their positions in politics and not accept such activities. Why? The moment I'm paid to go and heckle in a political rally, maybe the person I'm heckling at is the best leader, but because I've been given 50 bob, I'm going to do that, but I'm going to pay the price for the next 50 years. Not 50, sorry, 5 years. Because you see, these politicians, the moment I take somebody to go and heckle is because I want to know my ground. And maybe my opponent here is stronger than me on ground, but I want to make it seem like I'm the strongest, you see, so that the undecided voters now come on my side because the loudest noise was on my side. That those who also decide on who to vote or concern, they consider that. So when I'm heckled, when my opponent is heckled, then some voters will say, so-and-so does not have ground. People do not like him. People are shouting at him. But so-and-so, people like him. But also as leaders, ask yourself, the same people you want to lead are the same people you are bribing with 50 bob to go and heckle somebody. Why do you want to lead them? By force. If they can't just appreciate you voluntarily, why do you have to pay them?
Umesema unaitwa nani?
I'm Agnes Kose.
Wanawake hoye? Haya, Agnes ameongea, mpatieni kura, huyu ameongea sana. Lakini amuuliza swali puntu hapo, mbona mwanasiasa anilazimishe mimi nimpigie kura, lakini si kwa hiari yangu? Lakini bado narudi tena kwetu sisi, labda tu kwa sekunde moja. Sisi hii leo dadangu, ukiletewa mwanasiasa ambaye anakuangushia matita ya pesa hapo, alafu mwingine ambaye anakuuzia sera, kusema ukweli utachagua nani?
Kwa majina mimi naitwa Anogola. Unaweza niwiaradhi nizungumze kwa English. My name is Anogola. I'm from Kisumu County. I'm from Nyalenda Estate. That's the grassroots level within Kisumu County. What I can say is that if a politician brings me money now, I'll take. I won't hesitate anything. So it's upon me to understand what do I need in future. Kura yangu ni siri yangu. Pesa yako nitakula, lakini mimi ndio najua mtu mwenye nitampigia.
Kwa hivyo hizi pesa mnakula, lakini mkifika debeni mnachagua mtu tofauti.
Kura yangu ni siri yangu. Mimi ndio najua the leader I want, and I know the future I want for my kids and for my people. So let's say I'm taking an example of where I'm coming from. We are in a situation and in a place where somebody can be a whole week without food. People are suffering down there. And somebody is coming to me with, let's say, even 2,000 shillings. I have nothing to eat. What should I do? To take the money and ensure my kids are safe and they are healthy and they are good. But kura yangu mimi ndio najua mwenye mtu nataka. I know the leader I want, and I know akiniuzia sera mzuri, najua huyu naye ni future leader mwenye atatusaidia. Lakini kama yeye ameuza sera yake, nimejiwekea kwa roho. Yule mwingine amenikujia na pesa, nitachukua pesa niweke kwa mfuko, lakini mimi ndio najua mtu nataka.
Mnakubaliana naye? Okay, kwa hivyo kuna kuweka kwa roho na kuna kuweka kwa mfuko. Hapa naona kuna kazi, na ndio maana tuko hapa mtazamaji, ili kusuluhisha tu hili lote kutokana na zile jumbe ambazo Wakenya watakuwa wanasema. Smart, utaweka mdomoni, utaweka mfukoni.
Naomba niongee na kizungu tafadhali. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the first series, Mkenya Townhall, coming straight from you from Kisumu. We have a live audience and a panel and having one of the most fantastic, crystal clear conversations. Taking a short break. When I come back, we have more of this on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
Did you know the Kenya Space Agency will be hosting the Kenya Space Expo and Conference 2022? The inaugural Expo and Conference will take place on the 15th to the 17th of June 2022 at the Sarit Expo Center, Nairobi. This year's theme is Leveraging Space Capabilities for National Development. Here's your chance to learn about the opportunities in the space sector. Come and network with industry professionals and players, exhibition and startups, and space enthusiasts.
Waswahili wanasema mwenye macho sarti ainame. My sister, ni mtali ndio tunaongelea. Hiyo Kenya unasema ni kitanda usichokilalia sarti ainame. How safe is Harambee Sacco?
Harambee is the mother of SACCOs. We are talking of 52 years of existence.
Oh yes.
There is a real surveillance on every activity that we undertake from every arm of the government. And we work very closely with the Commissioner of Cooperatives, Director of Cooperatives, Nairobi, and all the other counties as well.
So, he's the one falling for you? Is it because you guys go for drinks and cook each other Spanish omelets?
Oh, so you know about the omelets. Is that what has your bile all up there today, Annie?
I'm not here to ask you for anything. And you don't deserve anything from me.
I'm the mother of your children.
Which is unfortunate.
Iha! Wangere motere! Iha!
Nini hiyo?
Mpenzi wangu, nimefua nguo nikaweka kitandani.
Nini?
Chaji yako hii hapa.
Connector iko wapi? Nini Aisha, leo umeamua tu wacha uniharibie siku, si ndio?
Nimechoka, naenda.
Unaenda?
Uha! Iha!
Mimi ni mke wako mtarajiwa.
Mimi nakuongelesha kama boss wako.
Wangere motere dibale serehe!
Wananiongeze dozi.
Mwaka kwa pilo yenye analalia atakuwa wako.
Richard.
Get peace of mind and protect the ones you love with the power of Dettol Bar Soap. It cleans and protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs. So no matter what type of mum you are, trust Dettol.
And we're having one of the most important conversations today. We're talking about value system, talking about how we can keep peace and the issues that are making us stray, if you like. On my panel, I'll introduce Reverend. Let's stick with the money question, right? And even churches today, and you mentioned, men of cloth are taking money from politicians. Who do we trust? How can we trust you and the prayers?
Thank you very much. It is true everyone is taking money. And all the money in this country are legal tender. None is fake, none belong to the politician, none is dirty, for example. But the reason for which someone gives you money is more important than the money itself. Are you able to understand or identify the reason for which you are being given that money? By your conscience, then you better not take it. I better not take it. And I agree with my Archbishop when he says we should not open the pulpit as a conduit of receiving money for political gain. It is wrong. It is not right. Even if we prayed over that money, it will not make that money a right source of income for the church. That must be known. If we can sell our conscience for the moment, then we can sell our country to any bidder, be it Chinese, be it anybody. Because what we do at the local level here, is magnified at the national. We are not different from them. In this part of the country, in a constituency in Kisumu County, there used to be a politician who was known by the word Chuthuberja Kogero, meaning he gives you beforehand so that once he's in parliament, you don't ask him anything because he had finished with you. And that is what politicians are doing with us today. They are finishing with us as you receive that money. They are done with you. You don't expect anything, whether development or anything, until 5 years are over. Then they will come give you another 100 shilling. Chuthuberja Kogero. They are done with you. So we better rethink this business of, I take the money, I know where I will vote. It is not a right thing.
Commissioner, it's a question of values, right? That's what we're sort of digging into, that there's a struggle for the heart and soul of this country. We as a people don't think people who are vying for office, for instance, are doing it for our interests. And so by doing so, what we are demanding is give us our share now, and then you do whatever you need to do before. It's a sort of loss of trust.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's really disheartening to hear the narrative that is coming out from the young people especially. Because on one side, you appreciate the fact that they're in a catch-22 situation where they have to balance between this incentive to engage in something that's definitely not right, but also to meet their daily needs of survival. But that also leads us to the other part of it, where as a country, we are in a deep dilemma as to how we can break this cycle of politicians using handouts to buy. It's a dilemma because the young people in Kenya constitute more than 70% of the population, which means if any government is in power at all levels, county level, national level, that 70% should be the most important priority. But if you look at the way the politicians do their calculation, they do not have an incentive to break that cycle because that's what they will use in 5 years. And that's where now the young people must begin to ask, how comes 5 years down the line, nothing has been done to fix what has been called a time bomb, the problem of youth unemployment? It's because the policymakers have no desire to fix it because they use it to buy themselves into power. And that perhaps explains why it is just lip service to the young people. The second thing is also, we have a dragon called corruption. When a politician buys the leadership position using 100 shillings, that politician will not be a person of integrity when he is confronted with managing 100 million shillings a year. So that again goes back to us eating our own selves, our own desire to move as a nation. We undermine it because the leader we elect, we did not elect through a transparent process, And therefore, when they get there, they will recoup their money. And that's how we are also not winning the war against corruption. So what I would like to say is we must accept that this cycle has to be broken. And it has to be broken under the circumstances where we citizens are. It's nobody else. The politicians will not break it because it favors them, and it perpetuates bad leadership for that matter. And I just want to ask the young people, if you can take the money the way you are saying, of course it is wrong, but considering there is a reason for you to take it, then let that be the first sign that you cannot elect that person. Because if that person is buying your vote, instead of persuading you on an issue, or to tell you this is what the problems are addressed for the young people, any politician that will give you 100 shillings to go and heckle his opponent, to disrupt his rally, or to just make any form of contribution to their political campaign, please, that is the first sign that you must not elect that leader. And that is one way we can break out of the cycle of dependency of these 100 shillings. And that's when the politicians will begin to take the question of unemployment in Kenya, and especially for the young people, more seriously, because they will now come with real proposals on what they will do in 5 years at the county level, at the national level, to address the challenge facing 70% of our population.
Okay, just before I come back to, because I want to hear what people say to that, but Millicent, we are really deep at sea here. Because at Catch-22, we have politicians who are bringing money, we don't have money, okay? How do we make valid choice and choices, if you like? If you can help us to move us forward. Help us, please.
Yeah. How do we make a good choice? And I think it is a dangerous generalization that all politicians are giving money. I think we are in a county where we know some politicians who don't give money. Am I right or wrong? Wakisumu, am I right or wrong? There are some politicians we know in this place that don't give money. By the way, they are not even being followed. Even when they come to the airport, nobody even goes to greet them. They just go. Why? That's a question for us to ponder. Are they good leaders or not? That's, again, something not for me to say because I'm not here to campaign for anybody. But all I know is that we must deliberately agree that we also have a responsibility. And I want to say this. How many of us even have thought of even a small vegetable garden? Why are we buying boga? Because if we are saying that employment is a big problem, we are also saying we are not able to eat. We are not able to eat because we don't have money to go and buy mboga. One day I visited another lady here in Obunga. She had this 20 liters jerry can, and she had cut into two, and she had planted mboga. And she was getting her mboga from there. So I'm trying to say that number one responsibility is with us to create food for ourselves, to know that if we have our own dignity, then we can choose the kind of right politician, and that money we are looking for. No politician will put money in your pocket. However, they can create an environment where that is possible. Dadangu pale Farida alisema, baada ya uchaguzi mtu wako asipofanikiwa, tusiende barabarani. I think we have a right for picketing if indeed we believe that there's something that has gone wrong. But we can only do that, I always say, we can picket constructively if we have food in our stomachs. Then you are more sober. How do you do that? Fuga kuku, fanya ukulima mashinani, kisha uende ujaribu kuongea na wanasiasa, wauze sera, lakini wasilete hela hizi za kiholela holela ya kufanya nini? Ya kuvuruga amani. Kwa sababu mimi ni mwanaharakati wa amani na usalama shirikishi, lazima niseme kwamba sisi kama vijana, uamuzi ni wetu. Tutaanza kujifanyia kazi na si kupenda za bwerere. Nitakomea hapo.
Wa kampuni ya LCPI, labda tu kwa hitilafu ya sauti niweze kurepeat, nasema kwamba ni mwanzilishi na msimamizi wa kampuni ya LCPI, Millicent Owocho. Amegusia mengi hapo, amesema kwamba tusitake ya bwerere kwa sababu ya bure pia yana gharama yake. Lakini hapo awali Bwana Samkona alikuwa amesema kwamba viongozi ambao wanajitokeza wanaleta pesa tusiwachague. Je, sisi kama vijana ambao kila uchao tunalilia swala la hela, tumefikia hapo kwa kutowachagua viongozi wanaoleta pesa? Labda kwa sekunde moja nisikize huyu bwana. Mzee nasi.
Shukran mwanadada. Kwa majina naitwa Collins Onyango, mkaaji wa Kisumu. Nina furaha kuchangia mada ambayo umetuletea leo kuhusu hali ya fedha na uchaguzi. Kwa kusema ukweli, sisi kama wananchi tumedhulumiwa na wanasiasa ambao wanajidai kuwa ni viongozi wetu, na kumbe sio viongozi, wala ni wale ambao wamekuja kutuhadaa. Kwa sababu gani nasema hivyo? Kiongozi anapokuja na hela, badala ya kuleta sera, anafuruga akili ya mpiga kura. Na sisi kama wananchi tumekosa ile ya kwamba hapa tumedanganywa ama tunaambiwa kweli. Kwa sababu tumeona fedha za serikali, fedha za umma zimetumika kwa kuandika sera wanasiasa. Mtu anaandika manifesto, anatumia mamilioni ya fedha. Lakini baada ya miaka 5 tunajiuliza, je, ile manifesto ambayo aliandika imefuatiliwa kikamilifu ama jamaa ameenda pale akafanya zake? Sisi kama wananchi ni lazima tuweke viongozi wetu, we must hold them to account on everything that they say and everything that they have said in the past. That I wish for a day that a Kenyan MP will go to Parliament and bring a bill that will say we must hold our politicians accountable based on their manifesto, so that kama aliahidi watu ya kwamba nitawafanyia hiki na hiki na kile, asipotekeleza haya tumchukulie hatua, because kisheria inasemekana ya kwamba obtaining by false pretense, amechukua kura zetu kwa kutuhadaa. Nikimalizia hapo, ningependa kusema ya kwamba election fairness, we have multi-agencies that are concerned in preparations of elections. And I want to single out the National Police Service. As we speak today, we have witnessed several cases of violence in our region. Up to date, I can tell you without fear of contradiction that most of these have not been handled and the due process has not been followed. Now, if the process is not in order, how then do we expect to get a free, fair, and verifiable elections? We have seen violence in Kisumu, we have seen violence in Migori, we have seen violence in Homa Bay, we have seen violence in Siaya. But go to the police and ask them. We found hand grenades, handcuffs, tear gas canisters in a polling station just on a day that a political party is doing its nominations. To date, 2 months down the line, no action has been taken. What is the police doing in regard to ensuring that at the end of the day, we shall have free, fair, and verifiable elections? Kwa hivyo nasema hivi, wale wote ambao wanahusika katika kuandaa uchaguzi, ni lazima tuambiane ukweli. Wakenya sio wajinga. Yale mnayofanya tunayaona, yale mnayotuambia tunayasikia, lakini mwishowe ni ipi, njia gani tutafuata ili tuhakikishe ya kwamba Kenya imepata uchaguzi wa haki na tumechagua viongozi ambao wanafaa. Shukrani.
Hebu mpigieni makofi jamani. Kwanza amezungumza Kiswahili. Jamaa kutoka Kisumu anasema neno hadaa. Unakula samaki ngapi kwa siku?
Rudia tena.
Unakula samaki ngapi?
Moja tu.
Unaona huyu bwana smart alivyodunga suti, atakununulia samaki 2 leo. Makofi kwake jamani. Lakini kuna jambo muhimu ambalo amesema, tumejipanga vipi katika uchaguzi mkuu? Je, kuna mapengo hapa na pale ama pia kuna madoadoa? Bwana Smart.
Utaniruhusu niongee na Kiingereza. Asanteni sana. All right, so this is the conversation we're having. When we come back, we want to talk about the responsibilities of citizens and duty bearers. We take a short break. On the other side of the break, we have plenty more from our panelists and our audience. Makofi tafadhali. You guys are doing very well.
Since the pandemic, all mums know to be cautious of the many kinds of everyday germs that spread easily. Get peace of mind and protect the ones you love with the power of Dettol bar soap. It cleans and protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs. So no matter what type of mum you are, trust Dettol.
Dettol antibacterial soap 60 grams is now 50 shillings.
How do you keep your toilets clean?
I use normal detergent and bleach for washing.
The detergent and bleach cleanless can leave behind yellowness, rust, and germs. Harpic's 10 times better cleaning compared to regular detergents and bleach, and kills 99.9% illness-causing germs in your toilet, including the COVID-19 virus.
Here's to the roarers, the loud ones who rumble, the ones who cut through the noise in a cloud of dust, the ones who say, my time is now. And after the flags are raised and dropped, you cut through the air with a declaration of flair. And when you roar, the world listens. Here's to those who feel the roar with KCB, the official financial partner of WRC Safari Rally Kenya 2022.
Germs can cause various infectious diseases. To protect your family from germs, use the power of Dettol's 1 cup full in your bathing water for your laundry, for surface cleaning, first aid, and to protect your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol sure.
2021, you pulled up and showed out. You brought your true Kenyan spirit. You came through Kamambogi to show your love for WRC. As one Kenya, you did the absolute most. You held down Kenya's biggest sherehe. Petrol heads made everyone their co-driver. From the kiddos to the Mko gang. From those that came to show their OOTDs to the lovers of life, spirit cats, and those born for the sun. You helped others get their bread. Hey, you pulled up. So here's your pass from Kenya's biggest supporter of motorsport, the bank that loves all of you, KCB. And this year, we're gonna do it even bigger and tons better. Let's roar pamoja. Dunia nzima itutambue on 23rd to 26th June 2022. All roads lead back to Vasha. This is KCB for the WRC. This is KCB for Kenya. This is KCB for you. This is us. Let the countdown begin.
Majamaa, tumeishi pamoja vizuri kama majirani. Watoto wetu wamecheza shuleni na hata nyumbani. Haijalishi wewe ni kabila gani. Tumekuwa Wakenya wangwana sana. Lakini inapofika wakati wa uchaguzi, chuki, vurugu, vita na siasa mbaya zinaingia hadi tunasahau hizo miaka zote tumeishi kwa amani. Mbona tofauti zetu za kisiasa zinafanya tusielewane? Uchaguzi utakuja na utapita, lakini Kenya itabaki kuwa nchi yetu. Kwa hivyo tusikubali fitina na kutumiwa vibaya.
To get Me Mkenya by Anna Ogwas, dial *811 929 #. Skiza na Nation.
When you wake up in the morning, a whole world awaits you.
And the news clock is already ticking fast.
But how do you cut through the noise and gain understanding?
That is why here at NTV, we are adding a new menu to your morning.
Starting Monday and every weekday, our breakfast show is getting bigger and merrier.
We'll start your morning with breaking news, political debates, and informed analysis on M Live.
We'll be live with the big interviews that are defining this election season.
As we complete your world view with the biggest social issues of our time, that will be On Your World, which will now start at 8 a.m.
Don't miss our new look breakfast show every Wednesday morning, now featuring AM Live from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. and Your World from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m.
All right, welcome back to what promises to be our first in many series of town halls, Mkenya series. We are in Kisumu, Fafa Hall, if you like, and we've been having discussions and chats with the audiences here on what is important in this election and what we must do to achieve an election that is peaceful for all of us and have a country afterwards. Before we take the break, my colleague Frida was talking to the audience, and I want to hand you over right now back to her for more of that before we come back to my panel.
Wakenya hapo walikuwa wanazungumzia mengi kuhusiana na uzalendo na uwiano wa kitaifa, lakini kuna mwanadada ambaye amenijuza, Frida, lazima nizungumze. Kuna jambo ambalo mimi mwenyewe moyoni linanikera. Ni lipi linakukera? Zungumza nasi kuhusiana na hili swala zima.
Asante sana. Kwa majina naitwa Mary Gere. Mimi ni mkurugenzi wa shirika lisilo la kiserikali ambalo linaitwa Mungo International. Tunajua kama Wakenya tulipigania multiparty, lakini inaonekana kwamba hivi vyama ambavyo vimeingia kwa sasa vinataka kuturutisha kwa one party state. Unakuta kwamba maneno ya pesa ambazo tunazungumzia hapa, watu vijana kupewa pesa au kina mama, hivyo vyama vinatumia hiyo dhana ya commercialize. Wana commercialize vyama kana kwamba wanachukua viongozi ambao hawajawekwa kwenye mizani, viongozi ambao hawajaiva, hawajatosha, wanawapatia wanawapatia party tickets, alafu hao viongozi ambao hawajawekwa kwenye mizani wanalazimishwa, they are shoving them to our throats, tuwachague hawa viongozi. Na kitu ambacho tunakumbuka ni kwamba huyu kiongozi ukishamchagua lazima atarudisha pesa zake ambazo amenunua nayo hicho tikiti, na ya pili pesa ambazo amempatia ule mwananchi. Ukumbuke, goods once sold will never be returned. Utamuuliza vipi ule leader ambaye amekununua about governance, for example, hospitali haina madawa, utamuuliza vipi na alishakununua?
Haya, asante sana jamani, mpigieni makofi. Utamuuliza vipi na alishanunua? Kwa sekunde moja mbili tu, kwa sababu ya muda unazidi kutupatia kisogo. Unalipi la kusema kakangu?
Halo. Mimi kwa majina naitwa Nelson Owino. Na nilikuwa nataka kusema hivi, mimi ni first time yangu kupiga kura since Kenya ianze, ndio itakuwa first time yangu. But lakini frustrations zenye ziko, our politicians wako na interest zao, hakuna real empowerment hadi. Juu sioni hiyo real empowerment paliko. Sasa mimi nilikuwa nauliza hapa hivi, waseme kuja hapa, kama our leaders they are corrupt, why then mbona bado mnaenda kumweka kwa ballot? Sijui tunamvotia. Juu kesho akipita yutatenda hapo kuriot, agenda kuriot, ameenda kuriot ndio apate staff atadishi, atoke hata na maasset hapo. Naona yani cause commotion ndio apate kitu, na hizo ni frustrations za mayouth.
Haya, mpigeni makofi wa mwisho kabisa. Anasema yeye itakuwa ni mara yake ya kwanza kupiga kura, lakini hana motisha. Kaka, ulinijuza unataka kusema kitu. Simama tu kwa sekunde moja.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Ronnie Omondi, upcoming journalist at Maseno University. And hereby today, I've come to get some knowledge about this thing. And to these people, what I can say, in whose hands are we people safe, as it was said? But the people of Kisumu, in whose hands are you people safe? For example, right now, you find the politicians are buying you with 100 shillings. It's said that this 100 shillings, it can't even sustain you for even an year. But as you can see, these politicians are coming up with good ideas during the last minute run. Some of them are coming up with these job opportunities like the Kazim Tahani. If you see, they just give these people this work on the last minute so that they come and persuade these people on how they can take these votes, you see. But what we want as youth, we want them to help the youth in order to get something that they will be able to take into their future. Okay?
Pole kwa sababu ya muda jamani, nimemkata kwa sababu ya muda. In whose hands are we safe? Tunapetewa sera, dakika za lala salama. Smart, upande wako sijui kama kuna jamaa anataka kuzungumza?
Let me get this gentleman here. What's your name?
My name is Alex Wadegu Gilo, a resident of Kisumu here. So what I wanted to say is that there is emerging new trends of violence in that you see how mabouncers zamani, mabouncers walikuwa ni watu wa kulinda clubs. Na kwa vile sasa hakuna pesa, unapata hao mabouncers sasa they now own the militia groups. Hao wana recruit hao vijana wadogo kuwaweka kwa vikundi tofauti ya vijana. Na kuna hii issue pia ya clanism, ukabila. Kwamba mtu yetu akikuwa kwa power ndio tutasikia mzuri. Sasa unajua vijana wengi wame lose hope and they don't trust politicians. Unaona, wamejua tu we have thieves in power and thieves in waiting. Hao wamebelieve hao wataiba tu. Sasa ile amenipea nitamalizana naye, unaona. Sasa to restore hope, there need to be a national civic education program many times before election. But now if they introduce it hours before election, now wanasiasa ni wajanja, wamejua hao wananchi wana believe more kwa uongo than ukweli. Sasa atakwambia ndakufanyia hii na hii, ndakufanyia hii na hii, amejua zile shida zako already. So it creates an impression kwamba they are going to do it, but they are not going to do it. But the people, unaona, after giving what Miriam said, that we have the sovereign power. You see, when people delegate that power, they becomes powerless. So they cannot recall those leaders because they are tied.
Naam, asante tu. Sekunde moja tu Bwana Smart, hapa nisipozungumza na mzee atanifukuza. Amko zungumze nasi.
Allow me not speak in Kiswahili. You see, the young man behind me went to Mombasa before me and I have not gone there. Obure John Michael is my name. Those who are subscribed to the biblical teaching says that all have sinned and have fallen short of glory of God. But as a man from the lake, we say fish rots from the head. So when the head is rotten, don't expect the nail to be okay, to be fresh. Because leadership is rotten, that is the problem that we find with the people of Kenya. We need not to blame the youth, we need not to blame women for taking bribes. Because after all, what they take as bribes, remnants of bribery that is being given nationally. Why do I say this? Look at the budgetary bribery. When I was growing up and was going to school, we were being taught that agriculture is the backbone of the economy of Kenya. How comes that you can give the backbone a paltry 5% of the national budget?
Kwa sababu ya muda labda umalizie.
Yes. So when you give agriculture, for example, 5% of the national budget, it means you are bribing people so that they remain food insecure, so that when you come back, you come with 100 bob. That's why you see these people 100 bob. But let us ask ourselves, do political leaders take 100 bob as a bribe, or they talk more? They are bribed with more than 1 million, the political leadership. So even if we don't take 100 down here, the political leadership that we elect shall have taken more than 1 million up there, and they will come and buy us. Thank you.
Naam, asante sana jamani. Hoja kwa mavu, wapigeni makofi. Smart, upande wako naona unataka kuzungumza na maafisa wa usalama.
Thank you very much. We're having all opinions, and I have ladies in uniform here, and I'm obliged to have you say a thing or two. Please, Lillian, if you could stand. I have 30 seconds for you. This is our camera. What would you advise the people?
Shukran. Kwa majina naitwa Chief Inspector Lillian Angiro kutoka Kisumu Central Sub-County. Mine is just one. Peace begins with you, yourself, not only the security officers. So hakikisha ukiwa kule kwa ground, make sure unaeneza usalama. Tusijihusishe kwa yale mambo ambayo yatavuruga amani na kusababisha fujo. Kisumu imekuwa ikijulikana kama hotspot violence. Let us disapprove it this time round by ensuring that we maintain peace. Mkiwa kule chini, in case you get any information concerning anyone who is going to disrupt peace within that area of yours, kindly give us information so that we can take the necessary action as soon as possible and prevent any act that may disrupt peace. Asanteni.
Asanteni sana. Watatu mwenzako aseme kitu tafadhali.
Thank you very much. My name is Bridget Asanta Barasa. I'm an inspector of police. I equally come from Kisumu Central Sub-County. And my senior has already spoken, and protocol demands that I don't speak after she has spoken. But mine is to affirm to you that we are ready, we are set to support you during the electioneering period. And my request is to tell all of us that support us as we support you. And Kisumu and Kenya belongs to all of us. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I want to go back to my panel very quickly to sort of wrap this up. You've heard all these issues. Let me start with you, Commissioner, then I'll go to Millicent, then Mariam, and then Reverend, in that order. Please, as much as you can.
Thank you very much. I would want to start by what has come out from the audience, that as citizens and as young people, kitu muhimu ni sera, sio hela. So tukimaliza kura, enda umuulize mwanasiasa, wapi sera zako, ndio utupatie maendeleo ambayo umetuahidi kwa hizo miaka 5. The second thing is we have a big question about the issue of values. That is why we can justify and say, kama mwanasiasa anapatiwa 1 million, it's part of us. We are hungry, we need it. We have a big challenge of values. And I remember in the past, we used to have a campaign called The Kenya We Want. I think going forward, for Mimi Mkenya, for patriotism and cohesion to be realized in Kenya, now we must start a campaign called The Kenyan We Want. The Kenyan, not the Kenya, because the problem is not the Kenya, it is the Kenyan. We want our citizens who has integrity, who has decency, who loves his country, respects the neighbor, and so forth. Lastly, and this is important for those who are likely to be engaged in any form of violence. No violence is spontaneous. And that's why, as the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, we emphasize during these campaign times, apart from tolerance, we encourage people to embrace decency. Anytime a rally is disrupted, or a community is insulted, or there is violence, those are the things that build up, such that by the time the election results come out, you already have people who have grievances, you already have people who feel they were offended in the course of the process. And that's why we emphasize, please embrace decency when you are dealing with your opponent as a politician. And for young people, the small acts of heckling or disrupting rallies, those are the conditions that will ultimately create conditions for actual violence when it is provoked.
Okay.
And all is done and dusted. Remember, you will still keep your neighbor, you will still have your friend who may be from another community or from another political party, and you may still have your college mates and the people who struggle. And the problems of young people in Kisumu are the same problems of young people in Nyeri, in Mombasa, in Turkana, in Mandera, and in Kisii. Your problem is one. The day you will all wake up against those who are not fixing your problem is when we shall break that cycle of using young people.
Okay. Millicent, a minute or less, if you can.
Thank you very much. I think first and foremost, we should stop normalizing the abnormal. I think if something is wrong, we should not camouflage it and say it is okay. It is not okay to take bribe. It is not okay to give a bribe. It is not okay to sell your conscience. It is okay to stand up for what you believe in, and it is okay to look for other positive alternatives that you can empower yourself. I wanted to say another thing. At the end of the day, Kenya is bigger than all of us. If we choose to ban this nation, we don't have any other nation to go to. So ni jukumu letu, usalama wetu, amani yetu ni jukumu letu kama wananchi. Please stop forwarding rumors. Please stop reiterating and reinforcing polarizing rhetorics. Kisumu tuko na shida ya rumors because tunachukua tu ujumbe na tunapeana bila kuchunguza. I think if we can reduce that, and it is not a Kisumu problem, it's a problem for all of us. Let us verify facts. Let us not repeat misinformation, and let us hold ourselves responsible. First and foremost, for this nation to be one and to stand, I have to take the responsibility to ensure that my brother, my neighbor, I look at him as a human being. Let our Ubuntu-ness, our humanity be the glue that puts us together, and let us appreciate our diversity, because after all, we are all Kenyans. We are here to stay. The leaders, they will come and go. But guess what? They will not share their money with you. Your neighbor will be there at the time of need. That's my parting shot.
Makofi tafadhali. Mariam, dekamoja kama unaweza.
Thank you so much. I want to say that let citizens eat, sleep, wake up, and know that the sovereign power belongs to them. You have never given this power to anyone. It still belongs to you, and you must exercise it. If you have delegated it to our leaders, ensure that it is indeed delegated, not given, or giving it completely to our leaders. And I want to say that let us ensure that we choose leaders who are transparent and accountable and responsible. If they don't have education certificate, they don't have. Not that they have and they don't have. Let us stick to one thing. I want also to say that let us not tolerate corruption. Let us ensure that there is zero tolerance to corruption in our country, Kenya. Then let us encourage a lot of public participation in all angles of development, because currently we are talking of the third generation CIDP that is going on across the counties. It is not a process. The budget process does not stop. We have elections and it is only for a day. But the budget process continues. So if you want service delivery at the grassroots level, please ensure there is complete participation, public participation from your end, and ensure you engage with your ward administrators and village administrators to ensure there is service delivery at the end of the day. Because we will be able to curb many things if we will be able to participate in our development. Thank you.
Reverend, you can summarize in a minute. Makofi tafadhali. Thank you. It's okay, just go ahead.
Church leadership put moratorium on harvests decided over by politicians in our church.
Let's just use this microphone. Yeah.
I urge the church leadership to put moratorium on Harambes fundraisings by politicians in our churches. It will be definitely buying our conscience. Number two, peace begins with you. Be peaceful. Your environment will be peaceful with you. Finally, on the 9th of August, let us all wake up with your ID. Go to the polling station. Cast your vote. Go back home. Wait for the results. That will be your role.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I want to go to Frida for the final round for this evening. Frida, what do you have for us?
Now, Asante sana, bila shaka ni mengi ambayo ameweza kusemwa hapa, lakini mtazamaji, vile vile nimekumbusha kwamba Mimi Mkenya imeanza rasmi katika kaunti ya Kisumu, na tutakuwa tunasalia papa hapa na hapo kesho. Bila shaka safari yetu itakuwa inazidi kuendelea. Kidogo tu ni kujuze, tutakuwa pole kwa itilafu ya sauti, lakini hapo kesho tunawakaribisha wakazi wote wa Kisumu, wataweza kuungana nasi Manyata Kosawe Hall mida ya saa 10 hadi saa 12 jioni. Na vile vile Bwana Smart, kuna wafadhili ambao wameweza kufanikisha Mimi Mkenya, na kwa ruhusa yenu niwataje tu. Tuko na NCIC, National Cohesion and Integration Commission, ACES, European Center for Electoral Support, EU, that is the European Union, under the Pro Peace Kenya Project, hashtag yao ikiwa ni election bila noma, bila kusahau Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Denmark, Danida na ACT, na pia vile vile Mimi Mkenya ambayo imeweza kufanikishwa na shirika la NMG. Mtazamaji, kufikia hapo nichukue 2-3 ama muda umetupatia kisogo? Naam. Haya. Naona umevaa barakoa, umejihami kabisa. Kazi safi. Utaki kuzungumza? Haya, sawa. Wacha tuzungumze na mmoja hapa. Ameniambia Frida, kidogo tu siongei sana, lakini wacha nizungumze na huyu bwana. Katika hizi dakika za lala salama, labda uko na lipi la kusema? Kamera ndio ile. Kushikia.
Kwa majina naitwa Tony Onyango. Nilikuwa nataka kusema wakati huu wa siasa niko na wasiwasi sana, kwa sababu jinsi tunavyotumika kama vijana, inaonekana kwamba kuna vitu vingi ambavyo hatuvifahamu. Kwa mfano, hao wanasiasa ambao wanatutumia wakati huu kupigana, ukiangalia wale ambao wanasaidika ama wanapata usaidizi kutoka kwa hao wanasiasa, si wale ambao wanapiga kelele na kuzua rabsha kwa hizi rally. So ni vijana kwamba mwanasiasa atakutumia, lakini mwishowe hakuna usaidizi wote ambao atakupea. Ya pili na ya mwisho, tumezungumzia sana wanasiasa kutumia pesa. Pesa tunaelewa kwamba ndio kila kitu nchi hii, na Wakenya tunaamini ni hivyo. Wakati huu wa siasa, wale ambao wameongea wamesema kwamba ni sisi wananchi ndio tuko na nguvu ya kuweza kutabiri ni jinsi gani tutaweza kuendelea ama kuongozwa. Lakini nguvu hii ambayo tunayo wananchi ni kwa kupitia kura. Na wakati wa uchaguzi, sana sana wanasiasa ambao wana pesa wamenunua tikiti kwa hivi vyama, na cha pili siku ya kupiga kura ndo tutajua kwamba kura zetu ni hafifu mbele ya risasi na vitoa machozi. Kwa hivyo hao mapolisi wetu siku ya kupiga kura na siku za kampeni wasitumike na wanasiasa kuweza kutawanya na kutupiga risasi sisi vijana. Asanteni.
Naam, asante sana. Tumalizie ama kuna mwingine tunaweza zungumza naye? Naam, basi bila shaka mtazamaji, kufikia hapo hatuna la ziada. Wasemavyo Waswahili ni kwamba mkoko umezidi kuanika maua, na hapo kesho tutakuwa eneo la Manyata Kosawe Hall, ambapo tutakuwa Kosawo. Jamani. Kosawo. Nisaidie tu. Aya, sawa. Tutakuwa pale mtazamaji. Kwa hivyo wakazi wote wa Kisumu tunawakaribisha. Na siku zote tunasema Mimi Mkenya. Tuseme kwa sauti moja. Mimi Mkenya. Na bila shaka sisi ni Wakenya, wananchi wazalendo. Niite Frida Mwaka, nitaitika kwako Smart.
Shukran. Thank you very much. Thank you for your company online. Thank you for all of you watching us live. And thank you to our audience. Makofi tafadhali kwenu. My panel this evening has been Millicent Ocho Cheno, Director at Founder LCPI. Makofi kwa tafadhali. I've also had Sam Connors, Commissioner NCIC. Thank you very much for coming through. Maria Mabdala from Team. Makofi tafadhali. And last but not least, Reverend Bethwell Ocheng from the Anglican Church. You've all done very well. We will see you again tomorrow. My name is James Smart, signing out from
Ofafa.
All right, good night. Thank you very much.